What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to CFL Central, CFL content for the fans, by the fans. Now, this is going to be our Week 2 recap for the CFL's 2022 season. Carter, how are you doing tonight?
How am I doing? I'm doing pretty good. I don't know why I have this mic so close to my face. I'm doing pretty good. I'm happy about some things. I am shocked by other things, but yeah, I'm just ready to get into it.
All right, and before we do get any further, we're just going to say one thing. We know these uploads have been a little scattered for the recaps of the previous weeks. We're just working on ironing out the schedule, so once we get that properly planned out for the rest of the season, you guys will be the first to know. So without any further ado,
He's a busy man.
So is Carter right now, let's be real.
Exactly.
So without any further ado, I'm going to take the reins on the first game of this week, which was a crazy game, a game that I lost money on, and a game I bet a bunch of you guys potentially lost money on too if you're sports bettors, and that is Toronto versus Montreal. Toronto's season opener, and Toronto ends up taking it by a score of 20-19, all because of a 21-yard botched field goal with 13 seconds left on the clock. The Alouettes had the game in their hand, and they screwed up. They did the worst thing you could possibly do, and it sucks because I had money on the Alouettes. I like the Alouettes going into this game. I called the Alouettes in our Week 2 preview. I liked the way they played in Week 1. They barely got edged out in that Calgary game as well, losing by 30-27. I thought this was their week, and it looked like it. They had a really good first half, in my opinion. They had some decent play back and forth, but really what it came down to was a really good second half as well, because they came ignited in the fourth for 10 points. They finally get that drive. They storm down the field. They get the touchdown. They are in prime position to win this game. On a silver platter, it's served to them, and they drop it on the floor before they even take their first bite. So this game just sucked. There was a lot of good play in it, but at the end of the day, in my opinion, a game like this doesn't matter about the good play because this is a game you have to win, especially going down 1-0 in the season after a close Week 1 loss to a tough team in the West. You need to win this game, and to lose by 1 point when you have it served to you and you just completely kick it onto the floor and just don't eat it, nothing. Everything you could go wrong went wrong.
This season kicking has been terrible, and this is a prime example.
Absolutely. I don't even want to talk about kicking other than it's terrible because it hurts my soul to waste time on it. Like, it's kicking. It is the easiest goddamn position to find, and if you say it's not, it is. I've seen high school kickers make better, more consistent kicks than these guys from the same CFL distance with the same rules. Just for fun, casually, I've seen my own friends on a CFL rule field kick better field goals than these professional athletes. So I don't know what the hell is going on with your GMs out there on these teams. Find better kickers. But yeah, this game, like I said, it has some good play. I thought McLeod Bethel-Thompson was a little mediocre in this game at times. He was 71% for 269 yards, 22 out of 31. I like Trevor Harris in this game, even though he was 60% with an interception thrown without a touchdown. I don't know. There's just something about the way he was able to carry himself. He did go for a 42-yard long ball that was very, very nice play. But yeah, this game, it has ups and downs. It has highs and lows, and it ends on a bad note for the Alouettes. And it sucks because the Alouettes probably should have won this game, especially with that performance and how shitty the Argonauts played in the second half. But I digress. Bad game, bad loss. Carter, why don't you talk about an interesting game, a defensive showcase, is something I did not think I would be saying about the Bombers after Week 1, but tell us about the 19-12 victory the Bombers had over the Ottawa Redblacks.
Well, I gotta say, it was quite interesting because I had in our previews, if you haven't checked out, make sure you do, just because it's kind of interesting to see the contrast of what we're saying now. But
we're not too far off, people.
I had predicted the Red Blacks to win this game. I think both of us made that prediction, actually.
I remember our predictions, actually.
Not that we have no faith in the talent that the Bombers have, but mainly just kind of the showcase we saw.
I think we have faith in what the Bombers have. We're wearing Bomber jerseys, but
exactly.
I digress.
But basically, just in the sense of the defensive disappointment that the Bombers really showcased in Week 1. And if there's something that really stuck out is now Jeff Coates now back in the lineup for this game, and massive impact on that D-line. Holy crap.
Yes.
Like, and it's not even just him, but I feel like just having him there made everyone in there a lot more comfortable. The D-line as a whole played a lot better. It's still not perfect up to where it was last season, but a lot more resemblance of it. On the DB side of things, sadly, we didn't really see much change. Winston Rose was still getting burnt quite a bit. However, I did think Dietrich Nichols had quite a good game on DB. He was the only one I was actually thought had a pretty solid game overall on the defensive backside thing. But the Red Blacks, Mazzoli puts up a good game. However, not quite as impressive as that first game, which kind of confirms my suspicion.
Still over 300 yards, though.
Still over 300 yards, but people were saying there were some people that I saw that were saying that he is the best QB in the league by a mile, just based off week 1.
Pass what you're smoking, people, please.
Give it time. Like,
no way.
It's a great performance week 1, but he's not going to consistently be putting that up.
Exactly.
Although I think this was another game where I was really impressed with Greg Ellingson. He's really showing why he's the number 1 guy in the receiver corps for the Bombers. Dalton Schoen gets his first touchdown as a Bomber. Congratulations, my friend. Always nice to see him join the club. But yeah, overall, this was. I feel like if the Bombers are gonna try to win the majority of their games, they're gonna need to get their defense really cracked down. They've gotten about 50% of it has really started to crack down. The other 50 needs to get going. But I expect the Bombers probably to try to win a lot of low-scoring games.
Absolutely agree, and I just want to add one more quick note to that. I don't know why Brady Oliveira is running so much. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. He's not terrible. He's not bad by any means. I quite like Brady Oliveira, but when Johnny Augustine...
we threw Augustine in, we started having more success in the running game.
As I was about to say, it would be let me just quickly compare these stats, and I don't need to say anything else because you guys will all agree with me. Brady Oliveira, 14 carries, 48 yards on the night, 3.4 yard average. His longest run being 8 yards. Johnny Augustine on the night carried for 7 times, 43 yards on 7 carries, average 6.1 with a long run being 24 yards. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the next game because there's nothing else to be said about that. Use Johnny Augustine more.
All right, so I think this next game that we're going to be getting into is the Calgary Stampeders versus the Hamilton Tiger
This was
Cats.
a fun one. This was a fun one. Finest. This was the best game in week 2, without a doubt. This was the best game in week 2.
It's funny. This is a fun one for the CFL fans. This is a fun one for the Stampeders fans. This was not a fun one for Tiger Cats fans because it was a fun first half, but 20-3 just to blow it. Stampeders come back, win this game 33-30.
20 yards.
Points in the final quarter.
Dude, 20 points exactly. Like
field goal in overtime to win this 33-30. Yikes.
Also, I want to point out this stat because it's atrocious, and I know this game went to overtime, but 36 out of 51 for Dane Evans at 70% with 2 interceptions. Not good.
and I think we gotta say here that it's kind of funny. We've been seeing a lot of bad kicking. I'm not going to get into the bad kicking. Rene Paredes is one of the stars of this game. So I'm just going to go through some of just his stats individually. Okay. Second quarter, Rene Paredes 28-yard field goal attempt is good, as it should be. Then third quarter, extra point. Fourth quarter, 46-yard field goal. Okay. Then gets the extra point. Another extra point. 39-yard field goal, 35-yard field goal. Holy shit. Am I hearing consistency?
With a kicker in the CFL? How could that be?
It exists. It's there. Also known as Winnipeg, we know who you got to pour all of your draft picks and all of your prospects in to trade for. Apparently this is the one competent guy you can get. So, yeah, I mean, this is quite – because, I mean, a 46-yard field goal, that is very impressive.
No, it is. It's that without a doubt. It was a good game by the Stampeders. I hate to say it because I don't like the Stamps, but when you put up 20 points and a comeback in the fourth quarter, you deserve to win the game, and you deserve to lose if you're the Ticats because what the hell is that? Yeah. So this game was very entertaining for me, at least, and I don't even have anything bad to say about it. I liked everything about this game because it was just fun for me. I had no money involved in this game, no emotional ties to it. It was just football in its purest form, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. So I don't even know what else I could ask for out of a CFL game on a Saturday.
The only other thing I do want to point out is also a very impressive performance by Jordan on the receiver with 7 receptions, 109 yards, averaging 15.6. So overall, pretty good game for the Riders, or not the Riders, the Stampeders. Even after a very slow start, it's always the most important when you're able to respond to that. When you see that you're in the hole, being able to claw your way out of it is an important skill. But I think the only thing that they're going to need to make sure that they ensure is that they don't constantly get themselves in there, as you're not going to be able to dig out of all of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Calgary goes to 2-0, and Hamilton goes down to 0-2.
You hate to see it if you're a Ticats fan, but nonetheless, let's bring us into the final game of Week 2, Saskatchewan versus the Elks. All right, now this was a fun game if you are not a fan of the Elks, because the Elks lose again in a game that wasn't necessarily a blowout, but let's be real, it still wasn't fun to watch if you're an Elks fan. 26-16 the final in favor of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. This game was a mess for the Elks. I don't care what people are going to say, how it's an improvement over Week 1. Week 1, you got your ass kicked by a 40,000 crowd in the BC. Not a good look for the Elks after all the money spent in free agency. You come into Week 2 against the Rough Riders, a team that is tough, a team that's favored to win the West potentially and be up there with the Bombers, and you blow it. The first quarter is a dud. Edmonton puts up 0 points, 3-0 by the end of that first quarter for Saskatchewan. By the end of the half, in the second quarter, Saskatchewan is able to put up 9 points. Edmonton is able to get on the board with a touchdown, but nonetheless it doesn't matter because in the final quarter of this game, Saskatchewan puts up 14 points, and when it came down to crunch time, all the Elks were able to do was kick a field goal. And at the end of the day, paying the CFL's highest paid wide receiver and having him on your team ain't going to do crap when you've got Arbuckle being as terrible as he has been in these last couple of games to start this season. Me and Carter said this basically off camera right before we started recording. With Arbuckle going into the season, it was either he was going to implode or blossom into something new, and he's completely
explode or implode. I think that's what I said.
Yeah, he's completely imploded to start this year. It has just been gross.
He's imploding, yep.
21 for 35, 60% completion, 315 yards somehow, even with that. 2 interceptions for a touchdown. He was just not good this game. I don't care what anyone says. It's just not good. And I don't know what the Elks' problem is really. Like, they have a lot to look in the mirror going into Week 3.
And the thing is that
it's
one
just
of the
not
things
good.
That there was a lot of questions, at least that I saw from the Elks fans, on, there's a decent amount of players in the system who, had the potential to really step up, and it doesn't look like anyone really has. And it's more or less everyone's kind of seeing more guys come into the system and hoping that they're going to be the difference maker. But if no one steps up along with it, it doesn't mean anything. And if those guys that come and step into the system fall flat on their face, looking at you, Nick Arbuckle, then it really gets bad, because now you have a guy playing not up to the way you want him to, and then a bunch of guys watching that happen.
Exactly.
Who aren't stepping up. But in terms of stepping up, though, if we're going to talk about someone who has stepped up, Shaq Evans has really stepped up on the Riders side of things with 81 yards, 5 receptions, averaging 16.2. You can absolutely not go wrong with that. And overall, he looked very good in that first game, and he continues that in this one. So,
I agree, my friend. I agree.
Saskatchewan's got a lot to look forward to with Shaq Evans.
I couldn't agree more. This was a fun week. There were some messy games, some fun games, and just some plain out damn good football games. So Week 2 was fun. Looking forward to Week 3. Make sure to check out our preview, which will be dropping tomorrow, the day after this video drops.
Later today, if you're watching this when the day.
Oh, that's correct.
Yeah.
Ignore me and my out-of-date
later
calendar.
Today.
So without any further ado, thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed. Let us know what your favorite moment was in Week 2 of the CFL's 2022 season. Make sure to subscribe regardless of the team that you root for in this wonderful league in the Great White North. Have a great rest of your day from both me and Carter. Peace, love, and positivity as always, and bye-bye.